Welcome back to AFT Dice Season 8. It is round 14. We've got three more rounds after round 14. The match of the round this round is Richmond versus the Giants at the MCG. Let's get stuck into it. First match is Richmond versus GWS Giants at the MCG. Let's go to the first quarter. Waiting. First quarter's being completed, and the Giants, they've got 4-3 to Richmond 2-3. Let's go to the second quarter of this game, Richmond versus Giants. First quarter's nearly completed. Second quarter's completed. And we've got Richmond kicking 1-1 to the Giants 5-2 in that second quarter. And the Giants are out to a 37-point lead. Let's go to the third quarter. Now the Giants are on top with half a game clear. Third quarter completed. Richmond, they've kicked 4 goals, 3 to the Giants, 4 goals, 1. And the Giants have got a handy lead of 35 points. Let's go to the last quarter. And the last quarter is complete. The Giants kicked 4 goals, 5 to Richmond, 1-3 in that last quarter. The Giants, they go on to win by 55 points. Richmond final score 8-10, 58 to the Giants 17-11, 113. Well, that puts the Giants on top with 1.5 games clear at the moment. That's if Essendon lose. All right, so let's go to the second game. It is Carlton versus Port Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. Carlton are outside the 8. Port Adelaide are third. Carlton need to win this game. So Port Adelaide, they've come out 3-6, 24 to Carlton 1-1-7. 17 points the difference to Port Adelaide, 24-7. Second quarter. Second quarter's completed. Port Adelaide, they've kicked 6 goals, 6 to Carlton, 1 goal, 4. And at half time, Carlton are down by 49 points. Let's go to the third quarter. See if Carlton can come back. Third quarter nearly completed. Third quarter's completed. Carlton have kicked 6 goals, 2 to Port Adelaide, 4-6. And Carlton are down by 41 points, 55-96. Let's go to the last quarter in this game. Port Adelaide, well, they've just scraped in. Carlton, they had a massive second half, kicking 12 goals. In that last quarter, they kicked 6 goals, 4 to Port Adelaide, 1-3. But in the end, Port Adelaide have won by 10 points. So it wasn't enough for Carlton to get over the top. So Port Adelaide, they are in second spot. They're chasing a third flag in 8 seasons. Let's go to the next game. It is Gold Coast versus Sydney at Metricon. First quarter completed. Gold Coast, they've kicked 5 goals, 6 to Sydney, 4 goals, 1. Gold Coast 36-25. Second quarter. Second quarter completed. Sydney, they've kicked 4 goals, 6 to Gold Coast, 2-5. And at half time, Sydney are up by 2 points, 55-53. Let's go to the third quarter. Third quarter nearly completed. Third quarter completed. Sydney kicking 4 goals, 6 to Gold Coast, 3 goals, 3. and Gold Coast are down by 11 points, 74 to 85. Last quarter in this game, Sydney, they're in the 8. Gold Coast are 12th. So in the end, Sydney have won by 27 points. They kick 5 goals, 1 to Gold Coast, 2-3. And that puts Sydney in 5th spot at the moment. So the next game, we've got Collingwood versus Western Bulldogs at the MCG. Both teams are outside the 8. Both teams need a win. So Collingwood, they've kicked 5 goals, 2 to Western Bulldogs, 1-2. Collingwood up by 4 goals, 32 to 8. Second quarter nearly completed. Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 6 goals, 5 to Collingwood, 5-4. And at half time, Collingwood are up by 17 points, 66 to 49. Let's go to the third quarter. If the Bulldogs can sort of bring back the margin. So Western Bulldogs, third quarter, to kick 5 goals, 6 to Collingwood, 3-6. And it's 5 points of difference. Collingwood 90 to 85. Let's go to the last quarter to see who will get over the top of this game. And in the end, Collingwood have won by 13 points. They kicked 2 goals, 6 to Western Bulldogs, 1-4. And that puts Collingwood just outside the 8. Final scores, Collingwood 15-18, 108 to Western Bulldogs 13-17, 95. Let's go to the next game. It is Adelaide versus Fremantle at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide and Fremantle are 7th and 8th. Adelaide Crows, they've kicked 4 goals, 4 to Fremantle, 5-6. Fremantle are 8 points up, 36 to 28. Second quarter has been completed. Fremantle, they've kicked 3 goals, 6 to Adelaide, 1-6. Half time, 20 points the difference Fremantle's way, 60 to 40. Third quarter underway. It's completed. We've got Adelaide, they've kicked 2 goals, 2 to Fremantle, 2-5. And at 3/4 time, Adelaide are down by 23 points, 54 to 77. Last quarter. Last quarter's completed, and Fremantle, they've beaten Adelaide Crows by 32 points. They kicked 4 goals, 5 to 3-2 in that last quarter. Final score, Adelaide 10-14, 74 to Fremantle 14-22, 106. All right, let's go to the next game. It is Brisbane versus Essendon at the Gabba. Now, Brisbane, they're strong at home. They need to get a win against the top seed, Essendon. So, first quarter completed. Brisbane kicking 3 goals, 6 to Essendon, 4-3. 3 points of difference. Essendon's way, 27-24. Go to the second quarter. Second quarter, Brisbane, they've kicked 5 goals, 6 to Essendon, 3 goals, 2. And Brisbane at half time are 13 points up, 60 to 47. Let's go to the third quarter. Third quarter completed. Brisbane, they've kicked 5 goals, 4 to Essendon, 1-5. And Brisbane are up by 36 points. Okay, let's go to the last quarter of this game. Brisbane's got a handy lead. And in the end, Brisbane have won by 66 points at the Gabba against Essendon. Brisbane, they kicked 6 goals, 4 to 1-4 in that last quarter. Brisbane final score 19-20, 134 to Essendon, 9-14, 68. Well, keeps finals alive for the Lions. Essendon, they are now 1.5 games behind GWS and half a game against Port Adelaide. All right, let's go to the next game. It is Hawthorn versus Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Let's go to the first quarter. First quarter nearly completed. Okay, we've got Hawthorn kicking 6 goals 5 to Melbourne 2 goals 4. Quarter time, Hawthorn are up by 25 points. Let's go to the second quarter of this game. And Melbourne, they've kicked 6 goals 5 to Hawthorn 5-6. And at halftime, Hawthorn are up by 20 points, 77 to 57. Let's go to the third quarter of this game. Hawthorn, Melbourne in 15th and 16th spot. Third quarter completed. We've got Melbourne kicking 5 goals 1 to Hawthorn 1-5. And at three-quarter time, it is 88 level. Let's go to the last quarter. The battle of the bottom 4 of the ladder. Let's see who wins this game. And in the end, it was a draw. Hawthorn and Melbourne drew. They kicked 3 goals 5 apiece in that last quarter. Hawthorn final score 15-21, 111 to Melbourne 16-15, 111. That's the second draw for the season. All right, let's go to the next game. It is West Coast versus St Kilda at Optus Stadium. First quarter completed. We've got West Coast kicking 6 goals 5 to St Kilda 1-6. And at quarter time, we've got West Coast up by 29 points, 41 to 12. Second quarter, we've got St Kilda kicking 5 goals 3 to West Coast 1-2. And at half-time, West Coast are up by 4 points, 49 to 45. Let's go to the third quarter of this game. Third quarter's completed. West Coast, they've kicked 4 goals 6 to St Kilda, 5 goals 1. And at three-quarter time, West Coast are up by 3 points, 79 to 76. Let's go to the last quarter to see if West Coast can win at home. And in the end, St Kilda have just got over the line against West Coast. They've won by 4 points. West Coast final score 16-17, 113 to St Kilda, 17-15, 117. All right. Well, that just puts St Kilda half a game out of the 8. Last game, we've got North Melbourne versus Geelong at Marvel Stadium. North Melbourne, they've kicked 6 goals 2 to Geelong, 4 goals 5. Quarter time, North Melbourne are up by 9 points, 38 to 29. Second quarter is complete. North Melbourne, they've kicked 1 goal 6 to Geelong, 1 goal 1. And at halftime, North Melbourne are up by 14 points, 50 to 36. Third quarter is nearly completed. And North Melbourne, they've kicked 5 goals 3 to Geelong, 2 goals 6. And North Melbourne at three-quarter time are up by 29 points. Let's go to the last quarter. And the last quarter of the home and away match or round for round 14. Well, in the end, North Melbourne have won by 24 points. They kicked 3 goals 5 to Geelong, 4 goals 4 in that last quarter. North Melbourne final score 15-16, 106 to Geelong, 11-16, 82. Now we've got West Coast there, 1.5 games below Melbourne. So they're in the wooden spoon spot. So unless Melbourne lose the next 3 games and West Coast win the next 3, it could well be West Coast's wooden spoon for season 8. Well, that concludes round 14. We've got match of the round 15, Port Adelaide versus Richmond at Adelaide Oval. Richmond needed to win in round 14 to just have any hope for top four, but at this stage, they're sort of clinging onto the top eight. Sydney is the number one offense team. They're in fifth position, and the GWS Giants are number one defense team. The Giants have got the biggest winning streak of 5. And the next winning streak is 4 with Sydney Swans. So the two northern teams making a charge for the finals. Well, that's it. We'll see you next time for round 15, Saturday, the 12th of April, 2025.